I am tearing up.
I just about screamed right now, and I'm not even there.
Now that's inspirational, Natalie. I feel inspired today.
Part two of this.
I could be here for another hour.
And then I was talking to my class. There were only 2 of us, and the other guy was in the hospital. So here I am.
And I always go, he winds up homeless on the street. It's my fault.
Yeah, now you sound like my wife.
And you can get off.
I don't know. Call it Google. Or call it Google.
Yeah. Control. Alexa, how does he get across?
Paul, I cut you off earlier. What were you going to say?
What?
Dang it! Don't do that to me, Paul. Don't do that to me, man.
I don't know what got into my head, but I thought this thought, if I'm working year round, I might as well get paid year round.
Sweet Talk is a weekly 20-minute podcast brought to you by the Continuing Education and Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud, and subscribe today. Now, it's time to get started with Sweet Talk.
Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, depending on when you're listening to this. I'm Paul Dickey. I'm from Continuing Education Workforce Training, and this is our weekly podcast, Sweet Talk. Today, I am joined, as always, with Angie Wilhelm. Angie, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am working on my radio voice this morning.
Well, I think you have an amazing radio voice every time we do these podcasts.
I'm working on it. I stand in front of the mirror every morning and I practice.
Practice the radio voice, huh?
Practice the radio voice. And our guest today is someone who we're very familiar with, who's been on the podcast numerous times, RaeLyn Price, our health coordinator or director here at Continuing Education Workforce Training. RaeLyn, how are you today?
I'm doing great. It's a great Monday.
Great. It's Monday. That's right.
It's Monday.
People who are listening,
people who are Friday, but it's right. Monday.
Yeah, people who are listening, we are recording this on a Monday. So if we're just a little tiny out of step, that's probably the reason why.
Yeah.
Getting warmed up.
Oh yeah. So Angie, today we have RaeLyn on because she's going to talk about something coming up for us. Is that correct?
Yes, RaeLyn is spearheading our Mental Health Awareness Week events that happen between week of October 3rd. So we're very excited to have her on to talk to us a little bit about the Mental Health Awareness Week events and the history of the Mental Health Awareness Week.
All right, thank you. So Mental Health Awareness Week is a national event that happens in October, the first week of October. There is National Health Awareness Month in May, but we chose this week in October, October 3rd through the 8th specifically to focus on mental health awareness, because this is something that touches everybody's life. Mental health awareness. We either are dealing with friends or family, or even sometimes ourselves with mental health issues. And honestly, somebody can be well one day and an event can occur that can challenge our mental health. And so I think it's really important for people to become aware of mental health and the resources that are out there, the help that's out there, and know how to be able to best help themselves and family and friends. And so that's kind of what how this came about. I think the first one that we did was in 2019, and we did it as a resource fair where we brought in speakers and vendors, I guess, from different counseling centers and different mental health wellness individuals to help out with this. And then it's just kind of evolved into this event that we're doing this week. We decided to try something a little bit different and have a speaker every single evening during this week. And so you'll see our lineup, and it's quite varied. So
the event is in the evenings this year?
It is primarily in the evenings. So beginning next Monday, we have a speaker. It's Kurt Layton, and he will be speaking on grief and trauma. It's a pretty heavy subject, but anybody can come, but it's more geared to mental health professionals, and is, all of these courses can be used for contact hours, just depending on the level of continuing education that people need. But this one specifically is can have contact hours for mental health professionals with Kurt Layton. He is the director of the Moonlight Recovery Center, and we're really happy to have him here. Yeah.
Now,
So,
do all of the courses throughout the week count for contact hours?
Well, like I said, it depends on what your profession is. If you are a counselor, then you have to have somebody who is a counselor or an advanced degree above that. And so definitely the one on grief and trauma could be used for that. Also fearless emotion management. And honestly, probably let's talk about mental health could all be counted as contact hours for counselors and mental health professionals in that way. And speaking from a nursing perspective, any of these could count towards contact hours.
For nursing.
For nursing, sure. Yep.
So,
go ahead.
So are being held at the university?
They are. They will all be held. All of these evening courses are at the ISU Eames building, which is at 1999 Alvin Ricken Drive in the big classroom 131 A and B. It's a beautiful setup and lots of space for people to come and feel comfortable being in that class. So Monday night, we have grief and trauma. Tuesday night, it's emotional intelligence with Sharice Brown. We're excited about that one. And Wednesday, it's let's talk about mental health. We have Marty Cook, who is helping us put this together. And then we have Fearless Emotion Management with Dr. Dallas Johnson on Thursday night, Hope as an Anchor to Mental Health. And Friday, we have Mental Health First Aid, which is a certification. Anybody can take this course, and it's basically like taking a CPR first aid course for cardiac, but this is for mental health.
Oh, how does that work?
Yeah, so it helps you to assist somebody who is having a mental health crisis or mental health event, and or a substance use challenge. And you learn warning signs for mental health and addiction concerns, strategies, how to help people in crisis and non-crisis situations, and where to turn for help. We also learn about recovery and resiliency in that course, and the belief that individuals experiencing these challenges can get better and use their strengths to stay well. So that's basically the premise of Mental Health First Aid. This is something, it's a worldwide organization, mentalhealthfirstaid.org. And so we're excited to be part of that. Just a little note on that mental health first aid. We just received a grant to be able to do some training for mental health first aid. And our goal in this next 9 months or so is to train 1,000 individuals in mental health first aid. So we're excited about that.
Oh, and that kind of leans towards a question I had. Is there a charge for these classes?
These are all free. Again, from grant and volunteers and donations, we've been able to provide these for free. And so we're excited about that. Also on Saturday, we've added something new. It's a fun run, starts at 10 o'clock. We have partnered with Best to provide this fun run, and it's going to be a great event. It will be at the Portneuf Wellness Complex. And there's more information on our website. Angie can tell you a little bit more about that and how to sign up for the fun run. But we hope that you'll come and run for mental health. It's the Hustle for Mental Health Fun Run Walk. And go ahead.
And who is Best?
Best is an organization who is actually, I guess, the parent company for our Behavioral Crisis Center here in Pocatello.
Oh, okay.
And so they are partnering with us on that. And this mental health fund run, the funds will go to the Lance Quick Memorial Foundation, which we are very happy to support. And they've been a huge support for helping families with mental health and mental health awareness.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So if the people wanted to come to the classes, can they just show up, or do they need to register prior to coming?
Walk-ins are definitely welcome. Anybody who wants to show up that evening is welcome to come, but we do have a registration system, and that's probably our preferred way, is for people to register, especially for the mental health first aid. There are limited seats in that class, 30 seats. So that's first come, first serve. So if you want to make sure you're going to have a seat, get on and get registered. But we will take walk-ins up to our capacity. So we hope that everybody will feel welcome and want to come.
And I can tell you that right now there's 15 people registered for that mental health first aid. So that class is half full already. So if you want a seat in that class, please sign up today.
Yeah, good thought, Angie. Appreciate it.
So I would imagine that the mental health first aid is going to be popular because I don't know about anyone else, but I think we've all seen people in crisis. And when someone is having a mental health crisis, your first reaction is, I don't know what to do.
Right.
You recognize that there's a problem, but you have no idea what to do about someone who is in crisis.
Right. I think, for most of us, the initial reaction is that, we don't know what to do. And so we don't do anything. Right. And if somebody were having a heart attack, that would not be the same case, right? Most of us know what to do when somebody's having a heart attack. We know where to go to get help. And so this is something that's really important for people to understand, that mental health awareness and being supportive of people who are going through situations, there is something that we can do to help and be a support. And there are resources available if we only know where we need to.
Right. And a mental health crisis can happen to almost anyone. I've had people in my life in the past that, you would look at them and think Rock of Gibraltar. And they, they at some point something happens and they become a different person. They act differently. And again, you're taken aback because you're so used to this person behaving one way, and then suddenly they're not. And then you go, I don't know what to do. And I think a lot of people need that kind of support. And anyone has someone with ongoing mental health issues, I'm sure that they find that that's a trying experience as well, especially if you're, close to someone who has mental health, continuing mental health problems. You're aware of it, they're aware of it, but when the crisis happens, you still, in many cases, do not know what to do.
Yeah, that's so true, Paul. Very, very true.
So yes, definitely, people, please come in and join us for the mental health first aid. But there are other programs that we're going to be having that week that sound pretty good. I'm kind of interested in a couple of those that you mentioned previously as well. So the mental health, say the title of the event again.
It's long, right?
It's long.
Mental Health Awareness Week event.
Mental Health Awareness Week event. So when did Mental Health Awareness Week start as a national recognized week?
That is a very good question, one that I am afraid I can't answer.
I'm going to find out.
Find out, yes.
So when so there are other events going on. I would imagine there's other events going on across the country. Do you know if some of the other universities are having events as well?
I have not collaborated with any universities on this, but I imagine that there are events going on at universities across the nation. I know for our students, our university is, they have some ongoing things for our students, and I know kind of be watching for what they might be doing during Mental Health Awareness Week here at ISU as well. And of course, students are welcome to join any of these classes.
Okay. So, I mean, as a health professional, I mean, you've probably always had this on your radar, but what kind of drove you to actually actively do an event?
That's a really good question. I guess it's been just kind of a goal in our department is to help to increase awareness of mental health and to have more offerings for our community that are related to mental health, because it is something that does touch every single person. I can't say that myself, I've been deeply involved in a mental health event or with family member, but I know people around me who have, and I care deeply about them and want to make sure that other people have the information that they need.
I can tell you, Paul, I actually went to one of these trainings. I went to the emotional intelligence training, same person that's training for us on Tuesday night, and I can tell you it was fantastic. She really does a great job of teaching you how to communicate in a manner that is that I guess separates your emotion, your knee-jerk reaction emotion from how you communicate in a stressful environment or a stressful conversation. So I can tell you, I personally got so much out of that training simply because it really taught me how to communicate in a manner that I wasn't taught to communicate growing up. And I think oftentimes we communicate how we are taught growing up. And it really gave me some great tips on how to think about how I communicate and think about the words and even how I particularly say something when I'm trying to communicate it with someone.
So isn't that Therese Brown who's teaching that? Who's a friend of the podcast, who's been on a few times.
That's right.
Yes. So that's great. That's great. So RaeLyn, you started this event, the weekly, the Appreciation Week, a few years ago. Is that correct?
That's right. I believe the first one we did was in 2019.
2019.
Yes. Yeah. That was our first one. And we did start it as a fair for people just to kind of drop in. And we had some wonderful lineup of speakers and some really great community support with our, I guess, not so much vendors as exhibitors that came and showcased what they do and can offer for people. And then the next year, it was COVID. And so we had an event outdoors.
Okay.
We kept it as a fair, but we did it in Old Town Pocatello. And that was actually a really fun event. And then this year, we just decided to do something a little bit different.
So classes this year, no vendors per se?
No vendors per se this time, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Sure.
But will you have information available for people who might be seeking help, or organizations that they can contact for support?
Yes, for sure. And that's let's talk about mental health. That evening will be a lot on what resources are available and really just kind of destigmatizing mental health and where people can turn for help. So that will be I'm really looking forward to that. Marty has a wealth of knowledge, and we're excited to have him be with us on that. And then Dr. Dallas Johnson, with his Fearless Emotion Management, I have heard him speak a couple of different times, and every time I just come away with some really great information. And so I'm really looking forward to him coming as well. So
Excellent.
It's going to be a fantastic event, week. Come and get some information, become more aware, and learn how to help family members and friends and yourself.
Possibly get some continuing education credits.
And get some contact hours. We're not doing continuing education credits, but we are doing contact hours.
Contact hours. So as a layman, what's the difference between continuing education credits and contact hours?
Well, continuing education credits, you generally have to pay for those, and you're granted just a fraction of the hours that we can be able to offer in contact hours. And really, there are some organizations that do require the continuing education, but for counselors, social workers, nurses, we need contact hours. So that's what we decided to move with.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
After talking to the people who are the specialists in those areas.
Okay, so now contact hours.
Yeah. So we're running down on time. I set a timer. Typically, that's what Gary does, and he's in a class right now. He's in a training. We only have about 30 seconds left. RaeLyn, can you tell us how to sign up or register for one of these classes?
Well, the best place is to go to cetrain.isu.edu, and you can search the mental health awareness event. Angie, you might have some other ideas too. We have flyers out there with QR codes. You can go to our blog. You can go to our Facebook page. A lot of different ways that can link you to the registration. And if all else fails and you don't want to get on the computer, just call us, 208-282-3372. And our great staff will help to get you registered for these classes, or just show up and we would be happy to have you there as well.
Excellent. Excellent. Hey, RaeLyn just stole my thunder. She's
I'll let you fill it out, Paul. You asked the question, so.
No. So the other way you can contact us is through email at cetrain@isu.edu. RaeLyn, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry if I kind of, attacked you with a bunch of questions today, but I had questions.
That's okay.
Okay.
I did the best I could. So.
And Angie, as always, thank you for being here. I really appreciate your support on the show. We miss Gary, though. We miss Gary.
Yeah. We did miss Gary.
All right. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us today, and be safe out there.
Thank you. Have a great day.